Hello, 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 and welcome to the INMO show. We're going on week 10, and we have got somebody today that is very excited to be here. We're excited to have him as Hatton Smith of Campesino Rum. We are excited to say that INMO has taken a turn in a very positive direction over the past few weeks. We have implemented the cryptocurrency, so if you haven't downloaded the app, do so. If you've noticed, we've got 2 challenges, which we'll get into in a little bit. We've gone from 1 to now 2 a week. So instead of doing and putting things on for a week-long period of time, we're doing 3 days and then 3 days. So as we've said for pretty much the entire time, the more people that come on, the bigger they get. So thank you so much for being a part of it. Hatton, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
You've got a very interesting story. And I think it's something that a lot of people are looking forward to hearing. And I think a lot of people have heard it. At 19, you moved to Panama.
That's right.
You basically lived off the grid. 19 years old, you're living off the grid in Panama. How does that happen? Tell me how that goes.
Well, I was really just kind of looking to get away from home and to get to deep into the jungle as I could. When I was in high school, I watched the movie Apocalypse Now really late at night, and if you've never seen that movie, it's about the Vietnam War, and so I just went looking for an opportunity to get deep and dark into that, like, most dungy, woodsy places I could, and wound up in Panama doing it.
At what point were you like, this might not be a good idea?
You know, I do a lot of stuff even today, and I never really think about that. It never really crosses my mind. Maybe it should, but no, if something lines up and I see it, I go for it.
So the story goes, you find a 125-gallon rum still that has been left in the jungle at the base of an old hiking trail. How'd you even find that?
Yeah, so it was actually brought down there by a guy from Montana, and he, with the help of some of his local buddies, I think he used it as like a tax credit, and he offloaded this. It's really an old beer fermenter that they kind of makeshift like a column to it, and then attach a condenser to that, and you basically fire it from underneath with like a propane tank. And so they brought it down there, and they built a concrete slab to put it on, and then it sort of just kind of got like forgotten about, and so no one really came back for it. And I was actually roasting coffee down there, as well as doing some hikes, like out into the wilderness. And I really wanted to drink, actually, believe it or not.
I could imagine so.
Yeah, so there was, you have no electricity, you don't have cold beer, which I know that y'all are a big fan of in this office, and maybe not this particular show, but other shows here. So I wanted to drink rum, and some trial and error, and we started making some rum.
Were you hanging out with anybody?
So I was hanging out with some of the local farmers, as well as there would be some people who were experimenting with like sustainable agriculture on this farm, as well as just like adventure tourists, things like that. We'd actually get a lot of the special forces guys that would come off of jungle warfare school and come hang out on this farm. It was a bit of a commune. So a lot of the clientele were people who were living on the commune, as well as travelers coming through, military, but really me and the Campesinos, which is what the brand is named for, being the farmers and the cowboys, we were kind of doing our own thing in the back.
My wife right now, she's obsessed with the movie Tarzan, and that's like all I can think about of like, really? That's the kind of like what that looked like. So, when it came to like your living conditions and like making a bed,
yeah, a lot of hammocks.
What is that?
So when you're out in this type of environment and you're out in any type of tropical jungle environment, you want to get off the ground, first of all, because all the bugs and everything, the ground is not your friend, and you don't want to really like touch too many things. And so a hammock is a great way to do it. What I eventually did is I got a bunch of pallets, and I stacked a bunch of pallets together, and I found like this old, really like kind of molded mattress, and I put that on the pallets and built like a princess bug net. So think about like the princess type of, I forget what you call that, like on a big bed, bug net around. And I'll tell you, one time, what most people don't realize is a bug net becomes a cage when the animal's on the inside.
Yep.
And so one morning I opened my eyes to probably like the biggest spider I've ever seen. It looked like a dinner plate just staring right at me on the inside of the bug net. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that sense.
Good morning.
Yeah, it was an interesting morning.
So you begin distilling this, and you start selling it down there.
Yep.
So talk me through that. When were you like, this could work? This could be. Did you ever think at that point in time, like, this is just something I'm doing right now, and this could become my career, or like, how did that work? Of like, hey, I've got something here.
Never had the I got something thing ever. Still probably don't. But no, like I said, I wanted to drink, number one. And then number two, I realized that I could produce stuff that wasn't like what you would buy at the store. It was like, it would come off the stud, like 80% ABV.
Yep.
So it was extremely strong. It's 160 proof. And so we would have days
Put you on your tail.
Yeah. I don't put you way up in the sky. It's more like doing drugs than it is like drinking. And so we were just out there in the back, me and the Campesinos, and we're just, floating around in the sky basically. And then, people would hear about it and come by and be like, oh, there's like this dude out in the jungle or like out in the, edge of this forest, like whacked out on moonshine. And so I grew a nice little reputation and, started bottling it. And so what I would do was I would get people to bring me a bottle. So it was like we didn't have any glass or anything out there. So if you wanted to capture this stuff, you had to bring a bottle. And so I started to collect a few bottles, and I put a piece of tape on it for the label that said, drink at a moderate pace until empty and return for a refill. And so I tried to sell 20 bottles a day at $20 a bottle. And so I'd make like $400 a day. And
Which can go a pretty long way down there.
I had nothing to spend it on.
Yeah.
So it was play money. I literally I had a shoebox full of cat. I was like drug dealer rich. It was like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
Like nothing to do with it.
Which at that point in time, you got to be making sure that nobody's getting your shoebox.
Yeah. Luckily, I kept a very sharp machete, and everyone knew it. And so we never had any problems or anything like that. And
this is like something out of a movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of what happened. And there's a lot more stories that I probably shouldn't tell in here that would definitely make a movie interesting.
Well, that leads me to my next question. You're known as an outdoorsman. Whether it be skydiving or videos that they see on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it might be. What's the craziest story you got?
From
just Panama or back here? Just give me your last 10 years craziest story you've got.
Oh man. Crazy story. I don't necessarily know if I could pin down just one, but I will tell you something that crazy that I witnessed over the past summer. Is I was over in Switzerland, and I was flying wingsuits in the mountains, and I watched a guy make what he called a low-tech wingsuit, which is he took a piece of bamboo and a tarp, and he duct taped and zip tied the tarp to the bamboo, and then cut little holes in it and stuck his feet in it, and we launched it off a mountain together. Yep, and it looks like a redneck wingsuit. I'm gonna be. That's exactly.
Are you hearing this?
But it works. It's amazing when people underestimate physics.
Yeah.
Just because it's scary doesn't mean it's dangerous if you understand some a little bit of physics. And this thing worked great. It was trippy, but it worked.
That's more impressive than anything I've done the past 2 years. I can promise you that.
I think if we had more cliffs in Alabama, you would see more stuff like that.
I don't doubt that, especially after a few football games.
Exactly.
I've been asked to ask you this.
Okay.
Love life situation.
I'm a single man.
Single man.
Yeah.
We've got a bachelor on our hands here.
Yeah, I've been a bachelor for quite a while. I think that I'm in a different place every 3 to 5 days, so very focused on Campesino rum.
So what's your next kind of 2 weeks look like? Granted, Thanksgiving's in 2 weeks.
I'm here today. I'm here tomorrow. I go to Nashville over the weekend, flying some wingsuits in Nashville. Then I have 3 meetings the first 3 days of the week in Nashville, Tennessee. And then I am back here, and that's Wednesday. And then Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to see my granddad because he is, I think 94 maybe. Still kicking and still super,
it's a good run.
Super sharp.
Sign
super
me up
sharp.
now.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot in a short amount of time, as we talk about 94. Still very young. What would your advice be to any young entrepreneurs out there trying to get a start?
To get a start, I mean, you have to start. Like someone asked me a similar question the other day, and this is kind of like a game with no clock, and it's quite a marathon, I'm sure, as you probably know. I mean, there's a bunch of different like time machines that you can hop into that'll speed up the pace or whatever, but once you decide that it is what you're going to do, which I think if anyone's considering it, you should definitely go through that question first, is like, is this for me? Because I don't think it is for everyone. Just like flying a wingsuit off a cliff is not for everyone.
Yep.
I just don't recommend it for everybody. But once you do get it, then, you got to go for it. I mean, like, sell the house, sell the kids, sell the farm, like whatever you got to do. You got to start. And if you're young, starting earlier is the best thing you can do, because it puts you, you fail so quickly that you learn so quickly. And I'm sure you've experienced this as well, but you just get really great feedback when it's super immediate and intense.
Yep.
And so, I'm 29. I moved back from Panama when I was like 24. And so I feel like I've been in it for a second, but the reality is I haven't at all. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I'm, 35, hopefully I'll be like the wisdom of someone, above my age, because I've put myself in a lot of these scenarios where things could have gone wrong or maybe went wrong. And then I had the ability to like learn from that.
So I have to say that these bottles, these logos you've got are pretty spectacular.
Thank you.
What's the story behind these?
Well, so actually, a local group, Telegraph, helped me design these labels with an awesome designer, Shannon Clark.
Yeah.
Great designer here.
Married to Michael.
Yeah, exactly. My lawyer. Shout out to both of them and the Telegraph team. But basically, I rocked up back in Alabama from Panama, and I still had, do you know what leishmaniasis is?
No.
It's a flesh-eating bacteria.
It's probably best I don't know that.
Yeah, so it was probably like 30 days out of the jungle or something like that. And had what I thought was ringworm on my calf, but it just kept growing and growing and kind of like getting out, and it just wouldn't go away. Like 6 months of this stuff not going away. But anyway, I rocked up into their office and I told them my story. And, at that point in time, like, I looked like I had just stepped out of the woods. I mean, I had a crazy infection. My boots were shredded, and I told them my story, and they brought basically that little session to life. And so we feature the Jaguar here on our aged drum, because one of the things I used to do down there is we would set up trail cams all over the forest, and we would map jaguar paths. And so we would help a research team identify jaguars and really work to conserve their habitat in relation to the cattle farmer, which was trying to continuously expand their grazing range. So that's why we have the jaguar. And then you'll see here, we have this snake here. And so this snake has these blue X's on its back, and that's a representation of the fertilance, most venomous snake in Central America.
Yeah.
And one of the campesinos, while we were down there, a guy named Dario, he actually got bit by one. And so he had to take him, to Panama City, Panama Hospital, which is crossing two rivers. It's not easy getting out of this place. And he ended up surviving, but he got gangrene from the infection, and they had to amputate half of his foot. And so because of that, we wanted to kind of pay homage to it, put it on a label. And you'll see also this Ouroboros, this infinity symbol. It's a representation of the rum industry, and this break, this slash, is what we're here to do with it. Because in the jungle, this is one of the only snakes that you'll see that the Campesino will kill. because of the venom. And so that's kind of like what we're here to do with the rum industry, is we're here to come through the jungle and slice its head off.
I'm going to have to say this has probably been our best interview we've had yet. You've heard it here. Campesino Rum, Hatton Smith's company. If you see this, go out and buy it. Where are some places you can get it?
Well, here in Alabama, the ABC store, always a great place to go. A lot of the local bar and restaurants. If you're abroad in the Southeast, we're in Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. We've just gotten into Arkansas as well. But you can also go to our website, shop.campesinorum.com, and we'll deliver it straight to your door. So it's really easy to get a hold of us.
Well, fantastic. Well, man, we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you telling us our story. Nothing boring about any of that. And we couldn't wish you nothing but luck and really the best moving forward.
Appreciate it.
Guys, we appreciate you coming in and showing and seeing the INMO show today. As we discussed, moving forward, if you've not downloaded your INMO wallet, download it now. We'll give you some coins to try it out. There is a new INMO challenge going live today. It's your favorite sports team, so I'm sure with it being football season, we'll see some pretty interesting things, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, or hockey. This is the fall. This is the time that all four are playing. As we've said, there are 2 competitions a week. First place is getting $100 all the way down to 10th place getting $10. And congratulations to Bo Mullins. We're going to have a video from him on Monday. Bo has won close to $4,000 from INMO over the past month and a half of just literally posting content. Just a regular Joe Schmo like you and I. So props to him. You could be like Bo. Get on there, download the app. But as we said, thank you for coming in every single week and letting us be a part of your life for a few minutes. And as always, go INMO.